What's going on, Excel fanatics? Verdexes here. I'm excited about today's episode because I will be able to show you how to do an XLOOKUP. Now, XLOOKUP is not available in Excel 2019 by itself. You actually need a Microsoft 365 subscription. So if you're like me, who doesn't have a subscription or the latest version installed, you can use Excel for the web and it has a lot of the latest perks that you can use. Well, how do I get there? Simple. You actually just go to office.com like I have here, and then you click sign in, and the Excel icon is right there. Alright, cool, so let's get started. So an XLOOKUP essentially is the index match function combo. That's a pretty popular function in itself because one of the major drawbacks of a VLOOKUP is not being able to look left. So if you're familiar, this is kind of a little more of an advanced video in itself, but for VLOOKUPs, only start from column 1 and then look right. They can't look for anything behind themselves. They always start with column 1. So the index match combination counters that. It makes it easier for you to look in different spots on a table. So with the XLOOKUP, though, it's capable of doing what the index match combo does, and it's actually capable of including an if function all within one function, which is crazy. So the setup actually is very similar to a VLOOKUP, right? So if you type in a VLOOKUP, you can see lookup value, table array, column index number, and the range lookup, which is essentially the match aspect. So here's the XLOOKUP. So there's a lot more to return here, but it's very similar. So with the lookup value is the same. So say we wanted to play this one out, so we'll look up 1. The lookup array is very similar to the table array, but the difference is that you can't highlight entire tables. So you start with this first column here, and then lock it up, because that's good habits. And then notice instead of the column index, it's actually a return array. So you don't highlight the entire table, you only highlight the column that you want it to return. So let's just say in this case we want the employee name to show up with the employee ID. Let's lock that up. So let's just start with that for now. So as you can see, it returned Marcia. Alright, so let me do that again just to make sure you got it. So equals, hello, XLOOKUP. We're going to look up Marcia. The lookup array, so where are we looking for it? We're just going to pick this first table, lock it up. Return array, so what's the output? We'll just pick the same set here. So if it was a VLOOKUP, we would just be picking column 1 in this situation. So that'll be our return array, and then close, and you can see that found Marcia. So that's how that works. So now I want to show you how to apply the if function aspect of it, right? So let's say we do a VLOOKUP with this one here, right? So VLOOKUP, try to find Mary in this table, column 1, and then false for exact. Notice that was an NA, right? So if you wanted that to be cleaner, where you didn't want it to be an NA, you can actually put the VLOOKUP within an if function called if error. So notice how this popped up, right? I threw it before, so now the VLOOKUP fills in the value. So if there's an error, which was the NA here, what do we want the output to be? So I can make that 0, I can make that error in quotations, I can make that a dash. Yeah, let's make it a dash. Close. Right? So that worked, right? So if there's an error with a VLOOKUP, to make it look cleaner, I gave it this output. So the XLOOKUP, it doesn't require 2 functions when you do that. So let's try this. XLOOKUP, lookup value, lookup array, lock, return array, same set of data. So now, if we press comma, now we're in the if not found part, right? So this is the if aspect. So if it's not found, let's just do, we can write error, and then close it, and then voila. So that's how you combine the if function within the XLOOKUP like that, which is really cool and is pretty helpful. So hopefully I'm explaining this well enough that you've got an idea of how this function works. Now I want to point out a couple of the drawbacks to using it. So the thing is with the XLOOKUP is it's definitely more tedious to use, as you can't highlight a full table like you would in a VLOOKUP. So in this example here, what is employee 5's hobby? What you would do, right, assuming the clicking would work, VLOOKUP, look up the value 5, table array, I could just highlight the whole table, right? Whoops. Highlight the whole table, then press 3, and then false. Right? And that pulled up cook. The XLOOKUP won't take a large table. It has to be essentially either one column or one row at a time. So looking this up, right, look up the 5, lookup array, I can't highlight all of these, and then hopefully the return array would be the column 3, right, the hobby. So that comes up as an error, or the value here. So you can't do that when you're looking up. You can only do, let me just start over. It was XLOOKUP, lookup value, lookup array, column 1, and then column 3 in this situation, right? I'm not using the if function, so I'm just cutting it short here. So cook, so it worked. The other thing to keep in mind too, when you're using these two different arrays that you have to, the one defined and the one for the output, you have to make sure that they're the same length. So if I do my return array, right, so say if this lowers down just by 1, I get an error. So you need to be careful about the length, and you have to make sure that they're both the same, right? Because I make that one short, still no good. So actually, we'll just test it out even. So let's make it like a 4. And I'll push this up. It still doesn't work. So just something to keep in mind as you're using the formula. So there you have it, fanatics, the XLOOKUP. I know there was a couple other sections here. This template is left over from my very first VLOOKUP video. But otherwise, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, go ahead and smash that thumbs up. Just a reminder though, if you're like me with the Excel 2019 and you don't pay for 365, you're not on that, just go sign into office.com and then open Excel from there, and you'll have Excel for the web. Then you can go ahead and you can give the XLOOKUP a shot for yourself. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for some more content, and I will see you next time.